Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Clear. All righty. I'm going to introduce everyone. I'm Minister Dominic Alexander, President and founder of the Next Generation Action Network. To my left, I have the Executive Director, Leland. To my right, I have Jocelyn Sanders, who is the mother of Josiah Sanders, and I have Jason Sanders, who is the grandfather of Josiah Sanders. I want to be able to make sure that I say at the beginning of the press conference is Jocelyn is very limited in what she can because she is going to probably most likely testify in which will probably be third hearing after two hearings have been previously held in Denton County Courthouse. I want to start off by saying the Nation Network continues its outrage in regards to this. The fact that we're here for one hearing, two hearings is absurd. The fact that we even have to have a press conference when the state, which has everything that has been proven inside of court, has shown that the Texas CPS has lied, falsified documents, and left a lot of information. It deeply saddens me that I have to sit beside a mother that has not had her child in her custody for over 80 days here in the state. First hearing, we found out by the testimony of the REACH specialist. The REACH specialist is a department that Dallas Children's have created inside of it that escalates concerns about parents in regards to abuse. They are supposed to be specialized in these situations. What we know so far is that the REACH unit mishandled this case. We also know that CPS mishandled this case. CPS failed to tell the REACH specialists, the doctors at Dallas Children's, that Jocelyn Sanders agreed the day that they came home, that she had agreed to take baby Josiah to the hospital, just not Dallas Hospital, but actually Plano Children's Hospital. When I was asked why this person was on the stand was, do you feel that that would be sufficient? The answer from this expert that the state put up said yes. That CPS perjured the affidavit that they filed with the courts. It's to know that when they removed baby Josiah from the hospital, is that they did not have a court order to do it. But even the next day after they had that court put that court order and filed it, we also know that they perjured that affidavit. They did not include that she agreed to actually take baby Josiah to the hospital. They also admitted from that order gotten a prescription from the primary care facility. She had already had antibiotics and alternate antibiotics that she deemed was acceptable. Yet it's crazy that in America, a country where we say that parents have rights over their children, that I cannot have rights over the medical advice of my child, that someone can come and falsify yet create a whole entire case and yet drag me through countless days, sleepless nights, and over 80 days without my 2-year-old son. It is crazy. It is crazy that we even have to go to the court hearing tomorrow. I believe that this judge had enough in front of them to say enough is enough. And I'm going to end this, and I'm going to return baby Josiah back to Jocelyn Sanders. After, inside of a court, After finding out that an actual document was perjured, we still have to go to a third court hearing. After the primary care doctor testified that this mother was not negligent in any way, out of the fact that Dallas Children's gave baby Josiah the same medicine that Jocelyn Sanders told them not to, and they did it anyway. It's absurd that we have to be here today to even talk about another day in Denton County. I stand here today talking about how we need to change laws in the state of Texas. The broad powers that are given to CPS have been weaponized against families of color. These type of issues, we call on the state legislature to review, to hold a committee hearing regarding this situation. We ask all of the people who are oversight in the Texas House, who are oversight of CPS, we ask that they hold a hearing in the conduct of this case, not only this case, but a case that NGAN had a few months ago, the Jackson's case, where they have used these broad powers in order to weaponize it against families. One of the things that we noticed with this case, along with this, is that CPS supplied documents. In the Jackson case, they literally put the wrong mother's name in there. They added a criminal background to her affidavit. They had the wrong father on there. They even listed previous CPS history from another person on this affidavit that was filed, and yet we come here to another affidavit in court. Who holds the individuals that are responsible to this account? That's what the Next Generation Action Network wants to see. I don't want to hold any press conferences like this for who have had their child taken away because the State Department used its powers in taking their child. So we also know that the primary care provider testified in this case. We also know that some of the CPS workers testified in the case. I believe, did the supervisor testify in this case? No, okay. Not yet. We also know that the officer testified in this case. The officer, the chief of police of Corinth, also stated that they didn't see anything wrong with baby Josiah. They also stated, it wasn't my words, they also stated that this document was perjured. So why do the Sanders family have to go to another court hearing? Who is the highest being in the state of Texas that can say enough is enough? When I first got this case and started calling around to different people, I was told that this mother was neglected. I was told that that baby is sick. We know after 2 hearings that is all a lie. And so we come here today to do a call to action, because even as we go to this hearing tomorrow and we find out and we get the victory that we want and baby Josiah comes home with her mother, we know that it is not over. The network will launch a full campaign asking this committee to convene to investigate these 2 situations. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it over to ask questions. I'm going to, before I have someone answer that particular question, I ask that you be patient with me as I kind of run roadblock on what needs to be asked and what doesn't need. answered. Um, Jocelyn testified, so her questions today can be in any direct of the testimony. Jocelyn can talk about how she feels, not about the burden of the case, okay? If there's anything, I got a whole list in front of me. I can answer the question. I know exactly what it is. So I just want to make sure that we don't do anything that infringe on the court hearing that has to be held tomorrow. Before y'all even ask the question on how Jocelyn feels, I ask anybody, how would you feel if your child was taken for over 80 days from a state government that literally is supposed to follow the law, but literally in this case has broken the law? And you feel helpless because so many lies, attacks towards her character, attacks towards who she is. What we have saw in her huge, what we have saw in following Jocelyn and looking at the history of baby Josiah and the videos and the countless pictures, isn't a baby that loves his mother. The sights of those videos, the first time I saw that baby push his mother in a wheelchair, run behind her, and it bothered me. And I'm supposed to stand here and stay strong and not cry. But being a parent of a 9 and 7-year-old, imagine going through this. And so these cases, even though the Next Generation Action Network have them, and we go through these situations countless time after time, they never get easy. And I just want to say to you, Jocelyn, we got you. We love you. And thank you for entrusting NGAN to support you during this time. I also want to acknowledge the presence of State Representative Carl Sherman, too, as well, who is here. We also want to thank him for his advocacy as a legislature during this time. So I'll open it up for questions.
I think if we can ask Ms. Sanders.
Can you change that mic?
I will.
How you are holding up and what, I know you're limited to what you can speak on, but what you would want to say for people to understand this case and what's happening to your family.
Trying to stay as strong as possible, even in these news conferences, but it is a very emotional experience. And although I have been away from my son for more than 80 days, it's my son that's also been away from his mother. You know, he's 2 years old. I just can't imagine the emotional toll it's taken on him. I know how hard it is for me, and I'm an adult, so I can't imagine the pain that he's going through.
Do you get to see him at all?
Yes, ma'am. I've been able to see him for a week.
Obviously, not enough.
Yes, ma'am. In this past court hearing, the judge allowed it to be moved to 3 hours a week.
What is your hope for tomorrow?
She can't answer that one.
Okay. I think of something that maybe you can answer. I don't want to get her in trouble.
No. We'll tell you what she can answer. What she can.
I guess obviously this is a very personal issue and it's impacting your family right now, but it sounds like you want to use your story to help others too.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Throughout these 80 days, you know, just going through the motions and feeling the pain that I've been experiencing, I'm just honored that we were able to shed light on this story as well, on this injustice, and, you know, hopefully bring about a change in the future, because there's no telling how many other families are dealing with this situation and just don't have the ability to speak out on it.
I'm sure just going through this process of feeling like you have to defend yourself at every turn is very taxing.
Yes, ma'am.
So tomorrow at the hearing, is there expected to be a decision made?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So tomorrow, filed in the court, the judge has said that he will make a decision in regards to the situation. Also, you to point out, we know, not based on what it's testimony of a Texas officer, that there were critical information. In these information that were left out of the affidavit are the information that literally allows a judge, this mother is negligent, I'm going to remove the child. You accuse this mother of not properly getting medical attention, the antibiotics, eating a rash, whatever it may be. You find out later on that things took out the information that literally deemed you under law, allowed that judge to even remove this child, because there are checks and balances in the judiciary, but the judiciary still have to hold agencies accountable when they falsify documents in front of them. So one of the things is that this doesn't just have a decision made about whether baby Josiah comes home. This judge also has a decision on whether someone needs to be about falsifying a document. If I did it, Jocelyn, Jason, Leilani, if any of us did it, we would literally be charged at the fullest extent of the law. But how can someone get away with this? It doesn't just stop by doing the right thing and returning baby Josiah into the custody of his mother. Someone needs to be held accountable for falsifying a document that even got us in this situation. And so that's one of the things that NGAN will continue, regardless of when this outcome is what we want, and this baby is, there is nothing that has been proven in court in hearing 1 and 2, and I'm documented, there has been nothing that has proved in the court that this mother is negligent. Even the testimony from the REACH specialist, the department that even created this whole complaint, in that testimony, literally realized that they did not have all of the information. And so if this department makes the complaint and CPS is supposed to investigate the situation, how do we get to this point? We get to this point because we have an overzealous department, State Department, that literally wants to create problems. They were given these broad powers because in the past, their hands have been tied towards critical issues and deaths that has happened at the hands of state agencies. I've actually had a case where CPS dropped the ball. But in those countless hearings that broad powers, they also talked about checks and balances. And what we didn't see is checks and balances in this case. And that's the reason why we stand today saying that 2 things. Somebody from Texas CPS need to be held accountable. We want this Texas House Committee to convene a hearing regarding this situation to make sure that we do not have this again. No family in the state of Texas should have to go through this. We call for the full termination of these individuals that falsified this document. We call on the Texas Department of Family Protective Services to do the right thing. We know by fact that a document was falsified. I hear nothing about me. A supervisor approved everything that the person who came out to the Sanders family's house, she approved everything. This person that went out there called her supervisor, got her supervisor to approve everything she did. That means some supervisor, somebody inside of Texas CPS needs to be held accountable, and the Next Generation Action Network will not stop until that someone is held responsible. Any other questions?
I just want to be clear, so in the allegation of falsifying the affidavit relates to leaving out the fact that she was willing to take the child to the other hospital?
That too. Also, the fact that she did not include had been given an alternate antibiotic, and that had all and got signed up for the eating disorder, correct? Okay. Huh?
Feeding therapy.
Feeding therapy. Those are critical information. If you're saying a mother is being neglectful, those are the information. If you remove those things out and you say, hey, this mother is being neglectful, this child weighs such and such and such, you show the picture, but you don't say that she's went to the hospital. First of all, it goes back to how she even came to the hospital. She literally came to the hospital under the advice to the primary care doctor facility that literally told her to go there and get blood work, whether it was a nurse or a doctor, whatever it is. The facility that has been treating baby Josiah since he was born literally told the Sanders family, take the baby, get some blood work. Make sure, and they were concerned whether he was septic. And yet at the end of the day, when she came in, she literally gets upset that this mother has the audacity to be educated what she should give her baby or not give her baby. The literally come here and you tell that the infection in her baby's body is a simple, but you give harsh antibiotics. Everybody can look that stuff up. You know what I mean? FDA requires medicines to give. And then also, she tries to prescribe a blacklisted antibiotic. And then this mother says, hey, I don't want you to treat my child like a test dummy. The medicine is yet allergic to it, so that means his chances of being allergic to it is very high. I don't want you to use my child as a text dummy, and then I find out that he's allergic to it, and then I rush him to the hospital because he's allergic. He's having an allergic reaction to an antibiotic that I already know I'm allergic to. Sorry that I don't want you to treat my child as a test dummy. Just give me an alternate. I believe there are about 100 different antibiotics in this country. And so give me an alternate. All you had to do is do exactly what another primary care doctor did the next day. And guess what? This mother did not argue with that primary care doctor. She gave the antibiotics. She got the feeding therapy. She got everything that she needed. She knew her baby was not in a critical situation because she went and followed the advice of the primary care doctor in the facility. She followed his advice, found out his blood work is looking good. I'm going to take my baby home with this medicine. I'm going to do what I've always done, taking care and providing for him. And yet here comes a knock at the door with 2 officers and 1 CPS worker that literally says, I don't care what you are saying right now. I don't care whether you went to the hospital or care doctor, that you have already done what we are accusing you of. We're still going to take your baby. So where's the checks and balances? oh, the right thing done is you've gotten everything done. Okay, we're gonna make sure because we got the complaint from the hospital. We're gonna make sure that everything is dot all I's, dot T's. We're gonna walk through this, and then we're gonna close this case out because you're doing everything. And then, if I'm really concerned, do you have the number to the primary care facility so that I can be able to get another doctor to counteract what this other doctor has said and making sure that this child is okay, right? Proper diligence. And then wouldn't even be here today. We are here because a supervisor ordered her employee to take baby Josiah and put this mother through 80 days, 3 court dates changed, 3 court hearings, just to find out that a state agency falsified. So I'm not the best, I'm not a lawyer. I've been doing this for a good minute. I just public who holds these people accountable. Do the judge, do the executive director of Texas Department of Texas Family Services hold them accountable? Who holds these individuals who did this and brought us to this moment? Who holds them? That's the question that I have for the public. And I ask that everyone join us in calling for the full termination of individuals who falsified this document, and that this state agency investigates this situation to prevent this from happening. NGAN is not going to continue to hold press conference after press conference after press conferences for the same issue, same situation. When we have situations of children being abused and different things of that nature, we have that situation. CPS should use its full resources towards those situations and not parents who are loving and not a situation like this. This is something that if someone would have done their proper due diligence, we wouldn't be here today.
Mr. Alexander, the police officers, correct, asked if a exculpatory evidence could be included in the report. Do we know why
So
that was not included?
the CPS worker went out and asked her supervisor, should that be added? The supervisor said no. The officer also testified on the stand, going over those accounts and saying, this information was told to us not to put in the affidavit. All of the 3 critical things that this judge deemed as neglectful to even sign the court order to remove baby Josiah. That's what we want to focus on. We don't want to focus on what this, that, no. We just want to focus on what got us here. What got us here is when a judge signed a court order. First of all, let me back that up. We got here when a CPS worker removed a child without a court order, and then when they put out, they falsified the order in order to get this judge to sign it. And somebody made a decision to say, okay, well, if you put these 3 things in there, ain't no judge gonna sign that, and then that means we're gonna be held accountable because we didn't remove the child before we even got a court order. So, in the state statute, I didn't see any part of the state statute that said that CPS can remove a child without a court order. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Maybe, I'll challenge it to the people who are the legal experts in this situation. I didn't see it in none of the state statutes. And I think I've literally been a part of the legislature in the last couple of years. I was the author of the Clear Alert, the Sandra Bland Act. I've been a part of the creation of state laws, and I kind of know how to read a state statute. Nowhere does it say that CPS has the authority to remove a child without a court order. And so there are 2 things. Who made the order to remove the child without a court order, And who made the order to falsify the document that was filed in the next day? We know that when that child was removed, a police officer asked, hey, do you want us to put this in here? The answer was no. That's the reason why we are saying, and we are holding this press conference today to say that even when the judge do the right thing and bring baby Josiah home, this is not over. We want to make sure that this does not happen to anyone else. We're not going to keep on holding press conference after press conference, saying this stuff and all this stuff. I'm not going to do this. This is not going to be a career of NGAN. We don't want to see this. This is heavy pain for us. Leilani, as a mother to a 1-year-old, 2-year-old,
It'll be 2 in April.
2-year-old, this is painful for even her. We are parents to even stand here, even though we have grown very close to the Sanders family in these last couple of weeks, but we didn't want to meet them on this occasion. We wanted to meet them in a different way. But, you know, Uncle Dominique is ready to see baby Josiah tomorrow, and I hope that everybody join us tomorrow as we welcome baby Josiah home tomorrow. Thank you.
Do you know what time that hearing is tomorrow?
9 o'clock.
9 a.m.?
9 a.m.
I mean, what hospital is this?
Dallas Children's. Dallas Children's is where it originated from. Courtroom. What's the courtroom?